Heading for Innawoods with a bunch of mates somewhere in northern Europe. We decide to hike to this old abandoned Cold War-era military facility. Reach the facility after 2 days of hiking. Shit is cash, we spend the day exploring and plinking birds with .22s. By nightfall we set a camp in one of the empty warehouses. We go outside, set up a campfire and start making stew. All of a sudden we hear the loudest and weirdest roar I've ever heard. We all shit ourselves, grab our rifles and stare into the darkness. Something is moving about 100 meters out, we hear it rushing through the woods into the facility area. We stand there, silent, listening. Then it stops and suddenly it is dead silent all around us, just the stew slowly boiling on the fire. We look at each other and have a brief chat. We decide to carry on with making the stew. Next morning we wake up and start packing. Everybody is making jokes about how we got so scared of some bear etc. My buddy sees something lurking on top of the biggest facility building. We try to have a look at what it is, but it's too far away, some 200 meters maybe. It is just standing there, with 2 legs, probably staring at us. The thing is huge, maybe over 7 feet tall. I reach for binoculars to have a good look on who is trolling us with ghillie suit. Just as I find the binos my mates start shouting. I look at the creature, or whatever it was, and it seems to be running via the facility wall like a lizard, very very fast. By now it is clear it is not a human, nor any animal I know of. It disappears behind one big bunker structure. We decide to nope the fuck out of there, we're scared shitless even though it is day. As we are hiking back we don't take any breaks before nightfall. As the sun sets down, we make a camp and start preparing supper. Everyone's a little tense and we try to joke around. I mean very first K-Nope thread I was a part of. It's a very long one, someone may want to screen cap it. We decide to do guard duty during the night, my shift is 1 to 3 AM. Birds are singing like crazy, they do that during the night here, and I managed to see a lone rabbit hopping around our campsite. I would have popped that fucker but I wanted to let my buddies rest. Suddenly the bird stops singing and the rabbit stops, raises its head like it's listening to something. The rabbit nopes out of there very fast like it's running for its life. I feel very uneasy and flick on my flashlight and shine it towards the darkness. I'm hoping to see a glimpse of a fox etc. that could have explained the strange behavior of the other animals, but the forest around us seems empty. Just as I'm putting the light out I see something move behind the bushes around 100 meters away, it was something big. I shine the light directly at the bushes and try to get a look through my 10-22 scope. I managed to see something moving there and I believe I saw a pair of yellowish eyes. Then it stands up. I don't know to this day what the fuck it was, but it was hairy looking. Very dark and had a face. The face of lighter color and there were 2 yellow eyes. The thing was around 7 feet tall, somewhat human shaped. Although I didn't get a very clear look with my shit-tier flashlight I was 100% sure that that thing wasn't a human so I started panicking, raised my gun and lit that fucker up. I emptied the whole 25-round Butler Creek mag in about 3 seconds. I didn't even aim. My buddies woke up and started shouting and it was all chaos for half a minute. I tried to tell them what had happened as fast as I could. Having dropped my flashlight I didn't know if the creature had been hit or if it was there anymore. One of my buddies picked up the light and directed it at the direction I was pointing my gun at. And there it was, just standing. Suddenly the thing just kind of falls down and starts slithering at us, making no noise at all. We start screaming, grab our packs and guns and start noping out of there. We must have ran like 10 kilometers straight up before taking a break. All of us were shaking, we didn't share a word. We walked the rest of the way to the public campground in DEFCON 1, weapons ready and listening to every crack. I've never been as happy as I was when I saw some German tourists grilling sausages by their RV. They were all like WTF when we exited the woods with guns in low ready stance. We said nothing, walked to our car and drove away breaking pretty much every speed limit on the way. We talked about the thing on the way home, none of us knew what it was but everyone had seen it and everyone was convinced that it was not a human nor a normal animal of any sort. We decided to stay away from the woods for a while. Problem is that the wildlife around here is scared of people. Even children, and there hasn't been one bear sighting in over 80 years. The best is yet to come. Last summer we decided to be tough guys and find out what the hell that thing was. This time we would go with 3 ATVs, in case we would have to bail out fast. We took 2 cameras, 3.308s and one 1276 with slugs. There were 4 of us BTW, load of survival gear, and one of my buddies managed to get a Gen 2 night vision camera. We also had 7 pipe bombs, black powder in 2 iron tubing with caps at the end and Visco fuse, in case shit got out of hand. Yeah, it was kind of lame fake operator tier shit, but we thought we'd get all famous and shit if we actually killed it or got footage of it. Anyways, we entered the woods with our gear and headed for the facility. Again at the facility, everything looks normal and birds are singing again. No sign of anything abnormal. We decide to map the surrounding area and look for anything suspicious. Nothing was found. We make camp at the very same warehouse as we did the last time. Night falls and everything is still normal. We have guard shifts during the night but nothing happens. Next day we start exploring the woods area around the facility. We find a peculiar pile of dead trees, looked like someone had hauled them there. We take a closer look. The trees are arranged in a fashion similar to a huge bird's nest. In the middle of the nest there is one half-rotten moose carcass and a shitload of different animal bones. We start quietly noping back to our campsite. We park our ATVs next to the warehouse we keep our camp in. We enter the camp warehouse and see our camping gear all torn up, the somewhat expensive cameras smashed to against the floor. Food taken and sleeping bags torn to pieces. Fuck. We take everything we could in like a minute and start driving the hell out of Dodge. It's evening by the time we get back to public campground. A police officer stops us by the gates and checks our gun permits. Then the officer proceeds by asking whether we wanted to volunteer for a search operation. Our ATVs would be much appreciated. Some hiker had apparently gone missing in the nearby forest, 20 kilometers from the facility site. We look at each other and shake our head. One of my buddies quickly says something about being late and we drive out of there. The dude who went missing was never found. We decided that we wouldn't go innawoodsing in that part of the country anymore. No, he didn't sadly. But there you go. Dude who went missing actually was found. Local police released it to the media.